The doll people are not men, they are made of ice and glass. Our skin is clay and painted blue, our head can detach. We are statues with a pulse. We are art you can find. The doll people are quiet. What is there to say? Art does not interpret itself. There are men with a day to save. We are paintings with legs. We are art you can find.
Even in the 19th century, we had people against colonialism, the patriarchy, capitalism, etc. This is Emma Goldman, and this is protest fashion. Emma Goldman said that anarchism was the only way for human liberation. Before I dive in further, I'm Lindsay, and I started this series quite a while ago to pivot my followers to something that I care about, which is the people's liberation under white supremacy and capitalism. And I love fashion. I'm writing a book, and I have a Substack. Go follow me there for longer pieces. These are just short. She immigrated to the United States in the late 19th century, grew up reading a lot of radical Russian literature. It says she was radicalized by the Haymarket riots that happened in Chicago in 1886. So when she moved to New York City, she joined the anarchist movement and befriended a lot of different anarchists. She did lots of public speaking. She was arrested a lot. I even read somewhere that she would bring her book with her to jail so that she had something to read to like everyone else that was there, like with her own lectures. Also, she would illegally distribute birth control to women. There is so much more about her. You should do your own research. And her journal that she founded in the early 1900s was called Mother Earth. Her abolitionist views would even be deemed like controversial today. And Anarchism and Other Essays is her most popular work. But also we got to talk about the fashion. It's noted that she loves dancing, she loved parties. So she definitely would have been wearing like lace-up boots at the time, a long black skirt, or called a Gibson girl skirt. And her eyewear like doesn't change. Those cute little tiny glasses, hats with either like a scarf or like flowers in them. I mean, honestly, I love that. I really want to start incorporating like more of my own accessories on my hats. I kind of always forget that. So these photos are in black and white. And traditionally now we associate like anarchism with like kind of wearing black. But really back in the day, it was more associated like revolutionary colors were more red. So I'd say if you're going for this look, wear a red scarf. And her style was pretty modest, conservative of the time. Honestly, she just looks really badass. Anyway, you can find longer pieces and other things on my Substack. Thank you.
Those who take the meat from the table teach contentment. Those for whom the contribution is destined demand sacrifice. Those who eat their fill speak to the hungry of wonderful times to come. Those who lead the nation into the abyss call ruling too difficult for ordinary men. When rulers speak of peace, the common folk know war is coming. When rulers curse war, the mobilization orders have already been written out. The war which is coming is not the first one. There were others like it before. When the last one came to an end, there were conquerors and the conquered. Among the conquered, the common people starved. Among the conquerors, the common people starved too. General, your tank is a powerful vehicle. It can smash through forests and crush 100 men, but it has one defect. It needs a driver. General, your bomber is powerful. It can fly faster than a storm and carry more than an elephant, but it has one defect. It needs a mechanic. General, man is a powerful tool. He can fly and he can kill, but he has one defect. He can think.
Okay, I'm gonna invite you to critically think for just a moment, all right? I saw a TikTok yesterday that was like, capitalism really is like, if you don't make enough money, you deserve to die. I need you to understand that that is not separate from the ideologies of evolution, okay? Now, I'm not saying I don't believe in evolution. I literally have a science degree. But what I am saying, in the cultural zeitgeist of America, science is the operating philosophy and foundation that we work on. And so when we talk about evolution, it's either the idea that we believe in evolution or we believe that God placed us here. Now the issue is that as with evolution, it's survival of the most fit, but it's also death of the most unfit, okay? And then if we believe that like God placed us here, that supports manifest destiny. Do you see how these two ideologies still uphold white supremacy? Okay, now, when we peel back the layers and understand, like, if we're given a debate of options of like two, you need to understand that we're choosing the lesser of two evils and not actually like our choice. Like, it's kind of if you're babysitting a kid and you tell them, okay, you can either take a shower or you have to do the dishes. And you're like, okay, maybe I'll just do one of them because I'm choosing the lesser of two evils. This is the issue that we're getting into, especially now, is that we're starting to see how science, which is predominantly white male perspective, is infiltrating actual phenomenons in philosophy, but it goes so unnoticed because it's just become part of our repertoire. Okay, evolution is a theory. I'm not saying I don't believe in evolution, but I'm just wanting us to look a little bit deeper at the ideologies, mindsets, and philosophies that are upheld by these kinds of concepts that are so widely accepted in public. Okay, bye.
But this is the thing. We don't need things to get worse in order to pay attention and work together. I understand that I think the general sentiment is that, oh, well, things have to get shitty so that people open their eyes to the way they're being disenfranchised and so that we can work together. Guess what? I'll go ahead and say pretty confidently, most people know they're being disenfranchised. Most people know they're being disenfranchised by the government. In fact, this other that I think we're all, the elephant in the room that we're all ignoring is Republicans. I think the general idea is like, oh, well, Trump supporters and Republicans and all these people, they have to be able to open their eyes to leftist ideology. Guess what? They understand leftist ideology fine. There are either going to be people who do not give a fuck, and we know that to be true. There are people who are seeing what Trump is doing and are still very much standing by him, or there are going to be people who know, that what Trump's doing is shitty. They know they're being disenfranchised by the government. That's why they're voting Republican. That's why they're voting for Trump. And it's a much more complicated situation than just, oh, well, if these people suffer, they will be able to open their eyes to the ways they're being disenfranchised. They know they're being disenfranchised. And it is not going to take them losing everything and us losing millions of lives and facing incredibly difficult economic turmoil and facing incredibly difficult political times for us to get a grip. That's the thing that pisses me off. This idea that things have to get better or worse in order to get better is bullshit, because you can just work to make things better now. You can work in mutual aid in your communities now. You can volunteer. You can do all these things. You want to change the minds of people who vote for Trump or Republicans or whatever, you can have conversations with them. You can start by talking to the people in your own family. You can start by having real meaningful conversations and not just wishing death upon them and all this other shit. Because this is the thing. I talk a lot about the South on my account, and something I'm always trying to convey to people is that people are much more alike than you think. There's not that big of a difference between blue states and red states. We know this because we look at polling data. We find that most Americans support Roe v. Wade. Most Americans believe in the protection of choice legally. We know most Americans believe in things like, gay marriage. We know that we agree on things statistically more than we, sometimes feel. So we don't need to be suffering to come together and work. I find really what the sentiment is that a lot of people believe there's a couple of sentiments. One, there's a punishment sentiment where people believe oh, well, these people need to be punished, and then when they come over to our side, we can all work together. There's that sentiment. And then there's a sentiment again that I've repeated, which is, oh, well, people have to open their eyes to this. What makes you think that these people don't know they're being disenfranchised by the system? Because I said, I talk about the South a lot, and the people in the South know they're being disenfranchised by the government. That's why they're voting Republican, if you can believe it. They know that the government is fucking lying to them, and they're fucking taking their money, and they're disenfranchising them. They know all that shit. And I'm not saying it's right, but when you have one side, which is I would say generally the Democratic side comes from a very oh, well, I'm educated, and I know more than you, and they don't campaign in your area, and they tend to talk down to you, and, left-leaning people on the internet also talk down to you, and they make fun of you, and all these other things, you're gonna turn, but when you've got all that on the left, but on the right, they say, I know you're disenfranchised, but it's because of immigrants. You're gonna turn to the right, because at at least they're validating your problems. And I'm not saying the left doesn't validate your problems. I'm not saying, and I'm not saying that's, right or anything. I'm just saying that tends to be the case. And again, like I said, when Democrats don't run down there, voter suppression is a really big issue in the South. Gerrymandering is a very big issue in the South. And so they know what disenfranchisement is. People know they're being disenfranchised by the government. They're not stupid. It should not take all of us losing everything and millions of people losing their lives and their livelihoods for us to work together. What it's gonna take is some of y'all getting your, and I'm saying y'all royally, I'm not talking about this commenter, I'm just talking, it's gonna take some of y'all getting your heads out of your asses and stop holding this chip on your shoulder or this idea that you're better than anyone else or that there's one type of person that's the problem and just coming together and fucking doing it. We should not have to lose everything in order to grow. We should not have to have scorched the earth in order to grow. We can just grow right now. We can just do that. You can just start by reaching across, the aisle, metaphorically, I'm not just talking about the political aisle. You can just start by reaching out to your neighbor and saying, hey, what's up? And that's why I really fucking hate this sentiment, because we should not have to lose everything to gain something. It should not take a Trump presidency and us losing all of our civil rights and all of our, all of these things, environmental protections, like the Department of Education. It should not take us losing decades of political progress for us to come together. It shouldn't. You can just do that right now. You can just do it right now, because this is the other thing. If I can't feed myself, if I can't feed myself, it's going to be much harder to convince me to care about the person who's starving next door. That's just the truth of the matter. Americans are very individualistic. It can be very hard to get people to care about things on a global scale. And kind of going back to the South, I have a mutual who I really like, and they made a video kind of talking about how if we called socialism Southern hospitality, people in the South would pick up on it like that. Because people in the South really know how to build community in their areas. They know how to build community in their families and in their neighborhoods and in their areas. But it's that global thought that can be really hard for people, not just in the South, but everywhere. And so if things are getting worse and worse and worse, and you cannot feed yourself, and you cannot feed your family, and you're out of a job, and everything's expensive, it's going to be even harder for us to get people in this mindset of, oh, but we need to help everyone. Because I can't fucking worry about everyone. I gotta worry about me. And yeah, that sucks. And yeah, it's shitty, but that's just that's just the way it is. It should not have to get worse to get better. It should not have to get worse to get better. If you want things to get better, you can just start working now. Reach out to your neighbors. Reach out to your neighbors even if they're Trump supporters. Go volunteer in some sort of political organization. Go volunteer at a soup kitchen. Go donate food. Go start some sort of mutual aid in your area. You do not have to wait for people to die to take action, actually. You do not have to.
Hello, hi, would you like to get out of this mess? Me too. To do so, we need a powerful social movement, but luckily we've got a lot of scholarship on what makes a successful social movement. Today I'm going to be pulling from Marshall Gantz, who is a senior lecturer at Harvard University and a scholar of social movements. He says there are 5 core features of social movements that lead to them being successful. The first really important practice of social movements is relationship building. So it's really important for people to develop relationships with one another in order to foster mobilization. He says people move people, and people are moved by the example of people moving people. So it can have this sort of escalating, compounding effect. So get off your couch, go meet people, and be willing to work with people who are not just like you. Put their humanity first and start from there. So every time you get involved in a movement, it encourages others by setting an example. Okay, the second core practice is one I've talked about a lot, but it is narrative building. People are moved by stories, and when we tell stories about why there's a problem, what we're fighting for, and why it shows the values that we share, people are more likely to get activated. He says there are 3 aspects to a narrative. That is a story of self, which is an articulation through narrative of why you have been called to what you've been called to. The second is a story of us, which means it's a clear articulation of the values shared by a community that is organizing to protect and implement those values. And it's also, thirdly, a story of now. Why is there an urgent need for action? And he says something really important that I don't think people are really thinking about, which is that these narratives have to prepare people to face daunting challenges by countering fear with hope, empathy, and a sense of self-worth. This has to protect people from fear, isolation, and self-doubt. I really hate when people condescend to the public and act like they can't handle how bad climate change is, for example, because they'll be immobilized. They'll only be immobilized if you don't follow up with like, here's the plan, guys, join up, right? I will never condescend to you. I'll make this promise right here. I will never condescend to you and act like you can't handle the hard truths. The hard truth of this moment, it is bad. It will get worse. It will require sustained action and sacrifice. It will be difficult and uncomfortable, but we can do it together. Okay, so that's 1 and 2, but 3 is strategizing. He says if narratives and relationships are like the emotional aspects of a movement, strategizing is like its cognitive partner. A part of strategizing that he highlights is the need for training leaders. You can do this at multiple levels of the organization, and in fact, it is good if you do so. Number 4 is action. If you don't have things happening that can be counted, votes, people in the streets, things like that, nothing's really happening. He says if you can't count it, it didn't happen. And because if it's not being counted, you're not collecting data in order to learn from what worked and didn't work. 5 is structures. Now, structures can have a dirty connotation among social movement activists. I know that I spent so long in a mutual aid meeting last weekend with people arguing over how we should avoid the word leader because of its hierarchical connotation. Let me tell you, fascists don't give a shit about arguing over language, and neither should we at this point. Let's just get it the fuck done, okay? Movements absolutely need some kind of structure, okay? If you don't agree with that, I recommend you read The Tyranny of Structurelessness, which is about how if you don't have some kind of structure, people will implement one anyways, and it will just be whatever people are used to done again, okay? It will just be bringing all the toxicity of the current structures we have. You have to be deliberate about building a different kind of structure if you want things to be better and less toxic and not replicating all of the hierarchies that we currently have, gender, race, all of that stuff. And I really like this quote from him about the prophetic imagination, which is that transformational vision occurs at the intersection of 2 factors: criticality, which is perception of the world's pain, and hope, which is a sense of the world's possibilities and its promise. He says one without the other doesn't yield the energy for change. If you have hope without critique, if you have critique without hope, you cannot move forward. You need both, and you need to get active so that other people will follow. This is possible, and I believe it's coming. Throughout this nation's history, people have organized themselves. They have sacrificed, sometimes even down to their very lives, for the causes that they believed in. This heroism is possible. Do not believe people who tell you that things have always been bad, so there's no hope for the future. I would love to hear from you if you think that any movements currently are doing a great job of these 5 core practices of social movements and how people can get involved.
I love you, Jesus. I'm over you, que la corda you here. I love my children. I love you. I know you, Kayla. Jesus. You have no words, Kayla.
I hear you, Kayla. I am your God, and you are mine. No one else is my own love. I God am. Stop with your hurting her. I know my name. I am him. Yeshua. You always call my name, Kayla. I am him. I am him. You, Kayla, have not fought. You child are my child. And I am him. You've been mine. And I am one. Oh, holy Jesus. You are me, I am. Holy God, I know my age. Is there one? Oh Lord, I'm God. I am not your presence, Stephen. Oh, my child, yeah. Holy. And I know you. And I love you. And I love you always, Kayla. And you did not tell a word. And I love you, Stephen. And I love you, Holy. You, Kayla.
With me touching your hand and physical touch in general, please go like this with your hand and keep it up.
but this is the truth. This is the truth, and then this is reality. This is the truth, and then this is a tragedy. Taking the children away from the family. Why is this happening? It's a catastrophe. Stop with the vanity. Where is humanity? We are the refugees. We are in agony. We've been the ones that been taking your salary. We are the hard workers. We are the farm workers. We are the dishwashers. Yeah, we are the ones. Yeah, we are the ones. Yeah, we are the hard workers. We are the lawnmowers. We are the leaf blowers. Yeah, we are the ones. Yeah, we are the ones. Yeah, we are the ones that are working construction. And we are the ones that will fix your destruction. And we are the ones that make fruit on your table. And we are the ones that been given a label. And we are the ones that you blame it for taking your just what you pay me. We are the ones working minimum wages. And we are the ones with our kids in the cages.
The carrot doesn't work anymore because there's no carrot to dangle. All of the tools that used to be used to keep us playing by the rules and being docile no longer exist. Home ownership, probably not going to happen for most of us. Health insurance, even people who are working full-time jobs with good health insurance that they pay for are not able to afford basic stuff. Retirement is a dream of the past. You might not even get Social Security. And one of the funniest parts of this like collapse of like Western society and likely probably just like the collapse of capitalism as a whole is the number of creatives I have seen just full sending it. Because there used to be a carrot. Like, oh, work hard, you'll be able to own a home, you'll be able to live this American dream, and you'll be able to have a nice, comfortable, safe life. Every single one of these safety nets is gone. They don't exist anymore. There is no carrot left to dangle. And the people who might have been creative in another life and might have pursued a passion or an art in another life normally would be like, well, I love that stuff, but I really just care about being, responsible, and I really want these things. That's not a thing anymore. And there are so many people like waking up and deciding, well, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do, so I might as well spend the time that I have happy. What a time to be alive. Bye.
I really need to start seeing other stay-at-home moms that are liberal because I am just... Yeah. Are there any queer stay-at-home moms? Like, I really just need... I feel so alone.
This may get me canceled, but I don't care. I'm tired of seeing edgy clowns, okay? You're not a real clown. Clowns are supposed to be joyous and whimsical and colorful and have little trinkets and knickknacks in their pocket. We're supposed to be silly, goddammit! Just because you like ICP does not mean that you're a real clown enthusiast, okay? Oh, you like clowns? Where's all your color then? Where's all your little men in your pockets and your trinkets in your bags, huh? Huh? I take my whimsy very seriously, okay? And if you want to go and show up with your black and white makeup and all your edgy little signs all over your face and you come in with a knife, go to mime school, okay? This is clown college. You need to grow up and be childish, okay? Don't just... I'm tired of you guys.
100 men versus respecting a woman they don't find attractive. 100 men versus helping another person without trying to feel like an authority or a hero in that moment. 100 men versus not acting jealous and upset when kids, pets, and old people are receiving more care and attention than they are. Sir, you are at war with your own invisible demons and are losing. What makes you think you could fight a gorilla?
Hello. Here are 3 things I've learned from other people that make chores a little less hard. Number 1, choose the path of least resistance. Put things right next to where you will use them. like the sponge to clean my shower, or this floss on my nightstand, or the trash can next to the nightstand for said floss. Make yourself stare at the toilet bowl cleaner. Our main laundry basket is in the closet, but I like to take my clothes off here, so I added a laundry basket here. My husband as well. Same thing with my shoes. Number 2, put things outside the room that you're cleaning. If you're easily sidetracked by cleaning side quests, when you come across an item that doesn't belong in the room, just put it outside the room. Fantastic. Number 3, just stick dishes directly into the dishwasher. It actually saves more water than doing the dishes by hand. Let the dishwasher do the washing. That's its job. If you say, Christy, what if the dishwasher doesn't get all the gunk off on the first round? Just run it again. Who cares? If you don't own a dishwasher, I'm so sorry. I'm sending you nothing but love and strength.
Oh my god, how does it feel to be better than everyone? That's crazy. Oh my god, I finally found you. The one person who's better than everyone else. You are so intellectually superior to us all. I kiss your feet.
How much sorrow can I take? Blackbird on my shoulder, and what difference does it make? When this love is over, shall I sleep within your bed? River of unhappiness, hold your hands upon my head, till I breathe my last breath.